Good afternoon, Speed Gaming, and welcome to another iteration of the Links to the Past Randomizer Daily Race. My name is Radical Sniper 99, and today I'm joined by 329th Inline. How's it going?
Going great. It's always a good day to watch some a Link to the Past action, and we are certainly in for a treat with some good runners today.
Yeah, so we got another of the tourney flag set today. For those of you unfamiliar, and how are you not familiar at this point, we're going with a hard standard. That's for the main tournament 2021. That means we have a standard start with a hard item pool. For those of you unfamiliar with the hard item pool, it just means you got some reduced items available. Maximum of tempered sword, maximum 14 hearts, green mail, no silver arrows. Yep. So, and we're going to get a random start for the weapon, of course, from the uncle.
Got some interesting sprites on screen already. I see, I think Yoshi, Samus. Didn't get quite a look at the bottom one here.
Looks like a Dark Zelda, and I'm not sure I'm familiar with the bottom left one. I did see we have a Red Crystal Eastern and a Pendant Hera. I did miss the desert check, though, or the desert prize.
I'm about to see what Uncle has for us.
Ooh, the 10 bombs. So the weapons that you can start off with for this are bow, hammer, fire rod, cane of Samaria, cane of Burna, bombs, and a sword. I think that's all of them. I always feel like I might miss one, but yeah, bombs is one of them. This is not the easiest. I think this is probably the second hardest of the starts.
Yeah, bombs is certainly rough for getting through back of escape. If able to conserve bomb ammo, though, it is going to make sure that they can check those 3 chests on the way out, though. So we'll have to see how the runners fare with conserving ammo.
Yeah. Ideally, this is a 5 bomb escape. Okay, so here's what I'll say. I think Burna is easy. I think the problem with Burna escape is there's less of an opportunity to find bombs if you don't get any bombs. So, I agree that bombs are not the hardest to work. Bombs are the hardest to work with, but I think you have a better shot of having a bomb for the back.
Yeah, which can definitely play big into how you choose to route. We've seen a lot of good things back there that sometimes runners have to skip and wait till they can come back around, and hopefully we'll see all of our runners be able to conserve bomb ammo. I certainly don't like to see anything early on cause problems like that. So
yeah, we're getting, looks like everybody's having a pretty decent time so far. Looks like Humbug did use 1 extra bomb, but as well as Brev. And it looks like, yeah, this blue guard is not cooperating for Brev, so down to 3 bombs, but both Raylan and Professor Pixie able to get through with all, or the maximum 5 bombs you'd expect at this point.
And Raylan's certainly happy to grab some hearts under those pots. Zelda just had some more cash, so gonna be heading out just bombs today.
Now, we already did get the small key, so Dark Cross could be an item.
So, Radical, what do you think it's going to be? What do you think is going to be the big find that shows up first for our runners today?
I mean, the first thing I always want to see is just a real weapon. No offense to bombs, but I prefer to have something, permanent. Silvers, wouldn't that be a nice find? Wrong game, though, for those.
I was going to say, I can guarantee you that shouldn't be showing up on anyone's screen.
And yes, hard pool, no silvers. So get used to spins against Ganon.
Yep, that's no silvers, no gold sword, no mail upgrades, and I believe no mirror shield as well.
Oh yes, no mirror shield. Not that our runners will ever really go out of their way for that one.
Looks like Humbug the first into the dark rooms of escape. Very nice of the game here to grant us what I like to call the lamp free trial. Even though we don't have the lamp in the item pool yet, they'll be able to have this kind of courtesy free lamp cone to get through these first couple of dark rooms, but then anything after this, they will need the lamp to have the dark rooms back in logic. Although a lot of our runners are pretty skilled at maneuvering through dark rooms without lamps, so
So yes, we are less than 1 week though to the first qualifier. This Sunday, the 21st, will actually be qualifier number 1 for the main tournament. So lots of time.
Oh, and Humbug not able to get the rat kill, but then picked up another bomb there. Was on the last bomb, but able to conserve enough ammo. So we're getting simultaneous Professor Pixie and Raylan both kind of step for step here, giving us these back checks. Unfortunately, I guess you could have figured, right? With an early bomb start, nothing good back there.
I'll say for Humbug, those 3 bombs feel like almost, a save. That's enough to get through Kakariko.
Yeah, I guess find the positive in that. But other than getting our first quote-unquote weapon here, Escape was pretty empty. And all of our runners coming out of Escape just about the same time. Looked like about a 6:25 or so. And then Brev just a few seconds behind. Going to be getting a good sub 6:40 though.
And yeah, as Scarlet in chat pointing out, why is everybody grabbing the Sank? Brev, our only runner to remember that we got everything but a map.
Speaking of maps, we got that map check. Desert is just a regular crystal.
So, oh, and I believe, yeah, that would be our tier 2 tree pull with single bombs.
Well, I wonder what the seed wants us to have. Bombs on the uncle, but there's our first lift upgrade at the mushroom spot. So we're running the counter up to being able to skip agate here, maybe.
I don't think we're skipping agate today.
Oh, I didn't catch what was on the lumberjack.
I think that was a fire rod. Oh no. So there is still one chance that we don't need to do aga, and that's only if Skull and TR are pendants.
That is rough. So, and that's tough because Dark World is going to be, might not be able to get there for a while anyway, so we don't even know if that's something. So we'll see based on what comes up, whether swords or capes and lamp, how runners decide to route that knowledge. Yeah, as chat pointing out, also big key placement. There's our bow down there in Blind's hut. But big key placement in GT can also require the logical fire rod access. But there you go, Radical. Our first permanent weapon, so to say. No ammo required. The bombable chest for Blind's hut gives us our first sword.
So we've got at least 2 more swords to find, or we can find. One of the things to remember is all 4 swords exist, okay? At the beginning of the seed, during the randomization, all 4 swords are placed. the final sword only becomes, and wow, there's a lamp. The final sword only becomes a green 20 after the other 3 have been collected. So we could see different swords from each runner.
Yeah, nothing like seeing a sword in like an open item, and then you come back later and it's just turned into money. Bottle vendor looked like to be a bomb vendor today.
So yes, as chat's discussing, there are ways around if somehow we were able to get into GT without the fire rod and we were able, end the GT big keys on the right side. There are ways around that issue. And yes, some of our runners could do that bomb jump for the torches. So a lot of ways to get around it, just not preferred probably by most of the runners.
Raylan's going to be the first runner out of CAC to give us some checks here. Humbug quickly on the heels, though.
That was Quake. Yeah.
Yep. And as we're kind of going over some of the logistics here of the ALTTPR rule set, Quake is one of 3 medallions that grants access to Misery Mire and Turtle Rock. Those entrance medallions are randomized in this, so it could be any one of the 3. So we're not sure if Quake will be required yet. We don't even know if we have to dive into those dungeons quite yet. But knowledge is good. And chat pointing out as well that fire rod on the lumberjack ledge does not mean that Aga is necessarily our Dark World access in logic. Could just be that we need to take down Aga to grab that fire rod, but we'll see as more items hopefully are showing up soon. I'm going to get a look at Sahasrahla's closet. Always seems to deliver and does not disappoint there as we're a Master Sword. So that's Aga right there. Master Sword and Lamp.
Now, interestingly, Raylan is actually going to skip Sahasrahla to start and head directly to Eastern and then head back to Saha afterwards.
Does have the bow, does have the lamp. So Eastern is just kind of ripe for the picking here. Fully completable. And we're getting a fake flipper here on Brev's side. I didn't see what was on the hobo check. Did you happen to catch that?
I did not either, unfortunately. I completely missed that Brev went a completely different direction than everybody else.
Chat keeping us honest there. Hobo just had some money.
But yeah, it looks like everybody's making the Eastern play to start. Rather than going with some of our more normal, I don't want to call it normal routing, but which you're more used to seeing of like a mini Moldorm play.
Yeah, I'm actually, with the bow and the lamp and it being a crystal, I just, get it over with. It's kind of a short dungeon no matter what, even if you can go mode it. So I think this is a good play. And apparently so does everybody else on stream. Chat is just dreaming up some horrible scenarios here for everyone, as they usually do.
Yeah, I think that's just the nature of chat. You want to see some, not necessarily, I don't know, how do you describe it? Is it fun? For some?
I don't know. I always wish kindly on the runners. They're doing all this, putting themselves out there. I wish good things. But that big key just giving us a map. Nothing too fancy yet. I think all of note we've seen so far is just a piece of heart.
Yeah, just one item. So we do know that the vanilla big key chest is going to be an item.
Interesting, we have a 2-and-2 split here. Two of our runners did the closet check and are walking through here with the Master Sword, and two of our runners are going to check that on the way out. So,
just some money on our vanilla big key chest. So if there's an item of importance here, it's going to be on Armos.
yeah, like we said, got the lamp already, got the bow. Why not, right? Let's get this one over with.
Meanwhile, Professor Pixie is going with the vanilla strats for the big key room. Killing the enemies to release the anti-fairies.
Certainly not a bad play on 3 hearts. I know that's how I have to handle the room, so...
Yeah, I mean, especially depending on how comfortable you feel with it. A lot of runners, especially those in NMG, usually have 4 hearts, so completely understood.
It's I will say it's good planning because it's a lot less of a time sink than to have to die and go back. So a couple of extra, maybe half a minute or so to clear out the room.
So we do have kills for Raylan and Humbug there. Raylan able to pull off the quick kill. Humbug, unfortunately, falling off the script. Meanwhile, Brev into the vanilla big key chest room, and Professor Pixie just about to Armos.
Yeah, I was say we at just about 16 minutes grab our first crystal from both of our top 2 runners here, but unfortunately just some money. So Eastern really not having a payout other than the necessary crystal. And both Raylan and I would imagine Professor Pixie as well is going to be heading over to the closet after finishing up this fight.
And Brev actually grinding out the blue rupee room in the back of Eastern Palace. So that's a one-time trip into that room for some money.
Hey, money is good, especially in a game where 500 rupees buys you a mystery item.
And there's a second medallion for us, this time Bombos.
And I believe that chat has caught wind that Sahasrahla informed us of Skullwoods being the green pendant. So it plays into that fire rod decision there. We're gonna get a look here at South Shore Checks, Mini Moldorm Cave.
Wait, was that Skull Woods or Swamp? Because I see Swamp written down.
Oh, Swamp. I'm so sorry. I read that completely wrong. Yeah. My apologies.
So yes, definitely, though, that does confirm this is an Agaseed. So we will be seeing Castle Tower.
Yeah, and with that knowledge, I wonder if the runners just with their having the Master Sword and Lamp, I wonder if they just go head over and get Ag out of the way to get, some Dark World access. Not going to be able to do much without the Moon Pearl. But
yeah, I mean, I think the only runner who would consider it at this point is Professor Pixie. And even then, I don't expect that to happen. I think you almost have to wait at least until you find that pearl.
Well, speaking of important finds, Humbug making a trip up to Ice Rod Cave, Raylan right behind there on that play, but is rewarded with a hook shot. That's Eastern Death Mountain access, as we already have the lift upgrade and the lamp. So all that's in logic.
Yeah, and that's a great dense area to go to. We might see a check of Lumberjack Ledge here from Humbug, but I'm still doubting it. Although, nope. Humbug's going to find out that this is going to be a likely Agaseed. I don't know if Humbug knows green pendant information yet.
Took a look, and then
I'm digging the double takes today.
Yeah, it was.
That's the thing. A lot of our runners, they are used to seeing the bottom of that item and knowing exactly what it is. You can't do that with the rods. So you see the bottom and you go, it's a rod. Please be blue. Please be blue.
The only thing blue there is how you feel when you see the red top of that rod. And yeah, I will say, maybe because they have lamp and early, Masters are pretty early on, but we are getting the Lumberjack check from Raylan as well. So our runner's kind of getting the information.
And there's our Moon Pearl off of the old man.
It looks like Brev is going to skip the Lumberjack check. I don't know if Brev did it earlier. To the best of my knowledge, only Professor Pixie saw it.
Yeah, Professor Pixie, I believe, was the only one who did. I think part of this always comes down to, do you have boots? Mm-hmm. Until you have boots, Aga almost feels like a waste of a check.
And that is our third medallion that we know of. Second one that we have collected here, but that's Ether. So as long as those boots are going to have to show up at some point as well, just based on what we know. So not going to have to worry about medallion access for dungeons today.
And surprisingly, that dead rock was actually not going to block Humbug there. That was close.
And Raylan with a nice bomb jump to get back over there and skip the intended way.
Here we go with Paradox Cave. And wow, we're already maxed out on swords now.
I mean, that feels good. You're dealing the most damage that you can do pretty much from the beginning. We're only about 20 minutes into this, and they've only had to be in one dungeon so far. So it feels good to be, hitting everything as hard as you can.
Why do I feel like the seed is just saying now, you must go do Aga?
A gentle reminder if you've forgotten that Aga's in logic. Here's the cape, please. Just go do. And it could be interesting to see how the runners, choose to prioritize that with the knowledge, because it could make a difference if one of the runners grabs it early and it, kind of just cascades from there. But
we only have a couple of options left. Do you want to take the time to head all the way to Agena? And do you want to take the time to head up to Zora?
Yeah, it's been in logic since that early glove pickup. And most of our runners are sitting pretty good on cash. Yeah, it looks like just Humbug is a red 20 away from being able to make the purchase from the fish as well. And I say it, and there it is. So commentator blessing, if you will. But yeah, so we'll be interested to see where things lie. I definitely feel the Aga play strong. With the Moon Pearl, it really opens up the Dark World access, especially with Hookshot.
Yeah, and it looks like that's what Humbug's deciding is, I know I have to do this eventually because I know I need a fire rod. Let's go.
When we had simultaneous Paradox Cave bomb jump going on down there on the lower half of the screen. Very nicely done. Both Professor Pixie and Brev nailing that trick right there. And Raylan is heading for that same decision here. So it looks like we'll be waiting, at least for now, on what the Zora payout is.
Yeah, I think the only runner that we might see some divergence from, realistically, is Brev, because I don't believe Brev checked Lumberjack. So there is a chance we see some of these other options first.
I personally love the Gina Cave check. I think it's way too easy for that to fall by the wayside. So I'm in full support. Could turn out to be nothing, but... And all things considered, our runners have pretty much covered all the same ground just based on the limitation of the items we've had so far. Glad to see everybody's made it up to Ice Fry Cave, grabbed the hook shot, and then followed suit up to East Death Mountain. And it does look like Brev, where are we going? Brev is going south, so this might be that Agina's Cave, which could be big. Could be a big divergence from the other runners here. Also could be nothing.
Yeah, this really is just, Brev does not know yet that the fire rod's there. So, oh, never mind. Apparently Brev also didn't check the dam.
I feel like I'm seeing things. I could have sworn Brev was down here already.
I mean, had to have for that hook shot, but...
Yeah, well, the heart piece and the bombos here don't lie. So, not heart piece, heart container and the bombos here don't lie. But yeah, Brev gonna go over and check Agina after this.
Yeah, and this is definitely something we've seen as kind of a change in route for a lot of runners. From having done commentary on a few other of these dailies, some runners have said, I like the idea of doing Dam to Agina and doing Mini Moldorm to Ice as separate checks of each other. So there's definitely been a lot of runners discussing that change to their own personal routing. But here we go with Aga. So 1 to 15 blue balls. Let's see what happens.
What's your guess?
Let's be nice. 3. I mean, they have to do this.
All right, I'll settle it. Let's say 5. Oh, and just a piece of heart. So Agina's Cave not paying out the way that Brev hoped to. And unfortunately, that's limited knowledge for Brev as far as not having seen the fire rod. So Brev might be heading over to pay the fish. And was that an Ancilla glitch, if I have that correct?
Yeah, Splash Deletion. Trying to get all those flipper checks out of the way.
And has the Moon Pearl, so is going to be able to get some early information here at what's in the Waterfall Cave.
Yeah, that was a 3 blue ball, so... Okay, red crystal skull, and I saw a crystal TR, and I believe that was Pendant Mire, so...
I believe it was Pendant Mire as well.
So yeah, we definitely need that fire rod.
Now, what will be rough for Brev as nice... Ooh, half magic on the pyramid. Not required, but nice quality of life, especially in hard mode. If Brev finds a hammer or another glove, this could lead further and further away from getting that lumberjack check.
Yeah, the big question is, where is the boots?
All right. Is it worth the investment? I'm going to say that's a definite no. And down there at the waterfall ledge was also just a piece of heart. So, yeah, it's Brev is, kind of out of options, but does know that Ag is in logic as far as swords and lamp. So hopefully that's just the play we see anyway.
Oh, and it turns out our stun prize, I didn't take notice of this earlier, but our stun prize is actually bombs.
Fitting for how the seed started out, that's for sure. And yes, Brev is making the way to climb the castle. Professor Pixie about to wrap up the Aga fight. And we've already got Raylan and Humbug in the Dark World, so our runners are reading the seed.
Yeah, none of our runners heading to pod. So we'll see if maybe Professor Pixie decides to make a play in the Palace of Darkness. Yeah, our lumberjack is the fire rod. Aggro is required in two ways. One, it was our required Dark World access. Two, it is the fire rod location. So no ways about this. You had to go do Aga.
I feel like I see chat sentiment here, double required Aga gross. I feel like double required Aga is better, at least if you have to do it. Right, you really didn't have a choice, so at least you get rewarded for it, get another item out of the way.
Yeah, and really, the information helped Raylan, Humbug, and Professor
And with a big key right there in Skull Woods, Humbug is going to go right ahead and check this chest. Nice bomb jump there. It's just a key for a key. Yeah, so far all of our runners are avoiding pod. It makes sense. No mirror makes pod routing and key a lot more difficult and key use. But that doesn't mean that that's not where something is hiding. It's just maybe a less desirable type of play right now.
Yeah, I think the one thing that kind of, at least the way I kind of view it, is in hard mode, at least, it's not as difficult to do that death warp.
Well, Professor Pixie is going to Village of Outcasts. Gonna pick up the powder there, treasure chest minigame. That is nice to have in hard mode as well.
Yeah, nice safety so far.
Yeah, when you're not going to be getting the upgrades in defense, being able to spend your magic a little more frivolously, as well as have that powder to grab fairies. And if you're enjoying what you're seeing here, please do give a follow to these runners. They're putting on a great display of execution and very entertaining race so far. And if you enjoy what you're seeing here, you'll love the content that they're putting out on their channels all year long. So it's a great way to show love and support. And speaking of some love and support, Skull Woods is showing the runners some love today, as that's where our Titan's mitts can be found in the Canis Samaria locked chest. So, or not Canis Samaria, it's just the room where everyone uses the Canis Samaria. But it's does that room have a name? I'm sure it does.
Vanilla Big Key Chest, Gibdo Room. Those are the two very common.
The one you got to pull the statue to. Anyway, Skull Woods paying out. There you go. That's all you need to know. And Raylan well on the way to pick up those Titan's mitts as well. So that's nice. If nothing else, other than just the fact that it's required, it helps get you some Dark World access places. So it's going to open up what's available to our top runners for now. And hopefully we'll see Pixie as well as Brev head over to that spot pretty soon.
Yeah, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on what comes out of this play, Professor Pixie decided to go with Thieves Town first. We'll be able to beat the dungeon, but and technically this clear will be in logic because we already got the small key. Just the worry is, are we going to leave an item behind in the big chest, and is it required?
That's our first bottle showing up down there in the brewery, so that does give us a check back here in Kakariko if we flip worlds here to check the sick kid. So a little bit of backtracking there for that, but could be something good.
And we're actually getting divergence from Brev here. So we said nobody was going to pod. Brev going to head to pod first.
I swear it's just because we said it, right?
I mean, I appreciate the divergence. This is a lot of new info because realistically, Brev can do everything in Palace of Darkness except for Helma. And yes, our Titan's Mitts were in the vanilla big key chest of Skullwoods.
Well, Humbug is following suit. At least going to clear the front of Thieves Town. We'll see if Humbug sticks around after getting the 4 items here, the 4 chests here. There's a shovel that I missed on Professor Pixie's side, so a little bit more backtracking we've got going on here. Fetch quest, so to say. It does look like Humbug is going to at least clear out and finish this dungeon, so we'll hope for our runner's sake that there's nothing of importance on that big chest. I guess if there is, everybody's going to be leaving it, right?
Most likely. I mean, there's a chance that's, a runner would say, I'll come back, but it's a tough call.
Yep, and with that bomb's pull there, it is official. We will not be seeing the hammer in time to grab this chest, at least our first pass around. We're going to need the hammer, so it's out there somewhere. And I'm not sure if Raylan took a death or was just kind of bullied around by some stuff in the dungeon. I didn't catch.
Yeah, I missed the conditions for Raylan's death there as well.
Yeah, either way, heading out and is going to use those freshly acquired mitts, to get some more Dark World checks down here. And we've got blind showing up on Professor Pixie's side, so taking advantage of that cape and half magic, like we said, some good quality of life and kind of the most defense you're going to get. Fortunately, blind just giving a lot of piece of his heart today, and but that's another crystal down for Professor Pixie. So,
and is that all the items out of Thieves, or did we get both map and compass?
I saw map. I didn't see compass. Did you see compass? It looks like chat saying 4 for 4 on items. So.
Yeah, I thought it was possible, but I did miss one of them, so. But if chat is confirming that we did see all the items, then it works out for everybody.
And Raylan is going to be taking our frog here on the world tour. Come back around. And Stumpy sharing some life savings.
So yeah, Raylan's going to work this all the way to Hype Cave. Can't really do anything else after that. Now for Humbug, we are seeing a slightly different blind fight. Humbug is keeping to the script. If you weren't aware, blind actually does the same thing every time if you can pull this off. Just getting a little bit off on phase 3, pulling out that cave to be safe. Still able to get through that fight as Raylan finds the flippers.
Yeah, Hype Cave showing up a little bit here. Unfortunately, nothing else of note in the back, but those flippers are important.
Are they?
Well, they're important for the logic. Look, Radical, when you're as bad at this game as I am, you like seeing the flippers show up, all right?
I mean, I'm just thinking I'd appreciate not seeing flippers.
That's true. That could be pushing us into a pendant swamp play. Should the item density become the most attractive option? Silly me, I was thinking of the logic of the game. Well, if we do have to dip swamp, hopefully it's a diet dip and we don't have to go all the way through everything. Yeah, Professor Pixie on track to pick up flippers as well.
But didn't go with the Froggy World Tour here.
I don't. That's because Pixie does not have the Titan's mitts. They're hiding out in Skull Woods. I forgot for a second too. And I thought for a second with Powder we'd be able to link this up with the Bat Check, but we're still sans Hammer here, so not even going to be able to put that together.
Yeah, and as chat's pointing out, we didn't really comment much on Brev's play into Pod, but really it didn't pay off.
Yeah, so far, really the only things of note were that we're going to see Sick Kid here quick. Just a lot of pieces of heart right now. Yeah, like I said, so far, really the only big find has been the Titan's mitts up in Skull Woods. I don't even believe we found anything. No, it was just the shovel in Thieves Town. So,
yeah, and the question is, where do you want to take those Titan's mitts? Do you take them back up the mountain and check Super Bunny and Hookshot Cave? Or are you heading to Ice Palace?
I mean, we do have Bombos and Half Magic, so Ice Palace is considerably, say, more interesting with that combination.
Now, Raylan is now going to complete Thieves Town, or I thought was going to complete Thieves Town.
Possibly
yeah,
just
Humbug's
getting
doing
the
Dark
health.
Death Mountain.
Yeah, I definitely like the Dark Death Mountain play. But I could fully justify the Ice Palace play as well. Although, chat pointing out Caneless Ice Palace. Not able to do the Icebreaker skip. So Super Bunny Cave. Another heart container, which is, in this mode, in these settings, not awful, but certainly not helpful.
Gonna get a check of our TR medallion requirement. I believe that was Ether, so.
I thought I saw Bombos.
I'll not disagree with you. My eyes are terrible for the most part, so.
It looks like Tracker is marking off Bombos. Ooh, mushrooms. So continuing with the fetch quests here in Hookshot Cave. And is that a single arrow? How rude.
Well, you kind of believe that that's a good play, and it unfortunately, unless the mushroom pays off, not the most help.
What's funny here is it looks like, yep, so we're going to go right over and check that mushroom.
And it's not a bad idea. Having the flippers means it's pretty easy to get over to Witch's Hut this way instead of walking. And we do have the powder, so really a quick play. I think we cannot have hammer in skull. I believe we saw both items out of Skullwoods.
I am going to agree with you there. I think that I know we saw a piece of heart, and I know we saw, I'm sorry, I think we saw a piece of heart, and I know we saw Titan's Mitts. So. And looks like Professor Pixie might be heading up to check Catfish. Certainly looks like what's going on here.
Well, the problem for Professor Pixie is having to go this way to get even into Dark World right now. Without mitts, there is no quick way to anywhere in Dark World.
Yeah, we saw Catfish checked from at least 2 other players, and it does not pay out for anything good today. But we do see Brev taking the same read to head up to Dark Death Mountain with those Titan's Mitts. And Raylan taken down blind for a second crystal. So 45 and change. We've got a second crystal for Raylan. That's 2 crystals for 3 of our runners. Brev is still sitting on 1. But Brev also has the knowledge that pod is a waste, at least for what we had access to in the front. So Brev spent time checking something that I imagine at least one of our runners, if not all of them, will get baited into at some point as well, just based on what we've seen.
So yeah, we're just waiting to see who's going to make the gamble that pays off. As you know, the chat's been trying to figure out, is this, I think we're down to Purple Chest and Ice Palace. So which one are you going to first?
Well, I know which one Raylan wants to check. I will say, though, all things considered, being able to watch the 4 runners, I really liked the plays from everybody. It's just a shame one of them hasn't paid out yet. For all the divergence, we've kind of caught up just based on what's been available to us. So, strong play from all 4 runners so far. And just as I was suspicious of a few moments ago, ooh, the mirror. Swanky pull. Yep.
Where do you want to take that?
Raylan grabbing the mirror. That's going to open up some stuff. Not a couple of one-off checks, just make routing a little easier. But Professor Pixie, like I said a few moments ago, is going to be making that pod dip as well. That is an awful, awful place for that.
Yeah, out of all the possible setups, Mirror Purple Chest is one of the more annoying ones. Our Pearl was in Paradox, if I'm remembering correctly.
Oh, you know what? I kind of don't remember. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The Pearl was on the Old Man.
Oh, yeah.
Pearl was on the Old Man. Yeah, I think other than a sword, Paradox Cave had nothing. So, but yeah, that mirror is big. If nothing else, it just kind of opens the breadcrumbs a little further. Yes, chat, I am down. I'm gonna downplay the cape. Sorry.
Wait, and I felt like we must have missed something here because Raylan is back up on Dark Death Mountain.
So I don't believe Raylan made the Death Mountain play yet. I think that was just Brave and Humbug.
But it shows Raylan has the mushroom on the tracker. So did we miss something?
Well,
nope. Okay.
Yeah, there's chests down here. So
yeah, I guess Raylan hadn't yet found the mushroom.
Raylan had a little bit of a workaround to get through Thieves Town. Took a death and then went and explored a little bit, which might have actually helped because it pushed Raylan towards some other stuff that eventually became the Smith's check as well as the purple chest, which led to that mirror. So Raylan has the advantage of coming up here with the mirror. Now, Tower of Hera is just a pendant. but do you check for items maybe, just based on the limitation of what we've had so far since you're up here?
I mean, your options now are you can full clear Hera, you can get into ice, you can get into swamp, you can check graveyard and cave 45. But yeah, not a lot of great choices.
And that does indeed, it totally make sense. It does appear to be what Raylan is thinking. And decides that the regular Death Mountain enemies are much more enjoyable to take on. So
Yeah, just has to get past or onto that bridge to be able to use the mirror to be past the pegs.
And Brev, looking to even up the crystal count, has found the way into Thieves Town.
There's our first item out of Tower of Hera, just a heart container. So one more option here. And there's our big key.
So Radical, where are those boots?
I don't even know if I want the boots right now. If I'm being completely honest. Fire Rod doesn't really give us anything.
Yeah, I feel like boots give you too many options.
Although, sorry, let me correct that. The Fire Rod does give us something important, and I know chat mentioned it earlier as kind of a joke. And there's our second item for Hera. So Raylan is out of here. Yes, as Leslie is pointing out in chat, Fire Rod gives us the other 5/6 crystal, which does mean Pyramid Fairy access, because we also found a mirror. So we do have a Pyramid Fairy if we can just find those boots. And I know chat's been saying, please have hammer on Pyramid Fairy.
Well, at this point, it wouldn't surprise me with a Fire Rod on Lumberjack Ledge and mirror in the purple chest. This is a seed with a sense of humor, that's for sure.
And yes, we did get both items out of Hera, just a 10-pack of arrows and a heart container. But yeah, each of our runners in very different states of items at this point. So I'm not sure, Raylan heading over to the east. Is this the Ice Palace play everybody's been hoping for?
Yeah, Ice Palace feels good-ish. It's really hard to go in there without the hammer, although I've seen Ice Palace and hammer quite a few times, so we'll see. But I'm a little surprised that Raylan hasn't taken the mirror over to some of those one-off mirror checks, at least cave 45 or something. A little hard to route because we don't have any quick access like a flute or something, but really with the limited options the mirror provided, it seems like something's got to be somewhere like that. You know what I mean?
The flippers were in Hype Cave today. I don't know. I feel like if you want to have a painful hammer, Ice Palace hammer is bad. I'm surprised none of our chat is saying Swamp Palace hammer.
Well, Swamp Hammer, though, can only be in the one chest. It can be there.
All the better.
But I feel like if your options are Ice Palace and Swamp, you're just going to make, huge big brain play if that's where it is and you make the call for Swamp. But yeah, I certainly think Ice Palace is a more attractive play right now out of those two, neither of which good options. But that is just a hair under 54 minutes. That's the second crystal for Brev. So we're all tied up on the crystal count. And as you said before, all of our runners have kind of splintered off and explored some other things. So we've got a little bit of variety as far as information our runners have and some items. Professor Pixie is in the vicinity, about to be picking up the Titan's mitts.
So that was our second item there, that heart container in the in that front portion.
Yeah, I was suspicious that that's what I saw, but couldn't confirm. So.
Oh no! Oh good. Whew. I was like, please don't save and quit, Professor Pixie.
Yep, Professor is just a room or so away.
We do know the location of the fire rod. It's on Lumberjack Ledge.
Yeah, and Humbug has the smith in tow and is going to be trading that in for just a piece of heart, but then is going to be granted access to the purple chest, which I would imagine and also very much hope Humbug prioritizes, because that's where the mirror is. Very important.
Yeah, this is definitely not one of the nicer seeds. You know, big props to the runners here on the restream. I'm sure this does not feel like a good one. No matter, you know, where they find their next progression item, I feel like there's going to be some frustration.
That's for sure. Raylan making the call to follow the mirror's breadcrumbs. Does it pay off though? Here as we see the lumberjack or graveyard ledge check. There's the hammer. That
it
is
took a little bit, but we've got something now.
That's a tough spot. So graveyard ledge paying out. It's a tough spot, I say, because there are other, like, that's kind of a one-off, right? So there are other options that we could see our runners prioritize far beyond that. But I don't know. I had a sneaking suspicion that we were going to be able to, for lack of a better pun, see the way with the mirror there. And it certainly does provide access. Now we've got a lot open to us. And Humbug, purple chest, following behind. Going to be getting the mirror. We'll see what Humbug chooses to do when picking up that mirror. Fingers crossed that it doesn't push towards Ice Palace,
where Raylan has gone. So with, you know, we're going to get to see some classic Ice Palace bomb jump strats for this clear. But I think the big piece here for Raylan, you know, do ice, possibly I would assume finish up pod. You know, after that, if we don't find progression, you going to go do Swamp Palace?
Well, Humbug grabbing the mirror and is also going to be checking Nagina's cave while over here. Makes sense. But Humbug was getting pushed around a bit by some enemies there. Not going to be happy with this pull.
Hammer was in the graveyard ledge.
Yeah, usually it's shovels you need for grave digging, but I'm not going to ask any questions today. We got what we needed, right?
Exactly. So, if in case you're not keeping score here on some of the silliness of these locations, so we got a glove pretty early, but then you had to go up Death Mountain to find the pearl on Old Man. You got a sword out of Saha's Closet, and you also had Cape, so you had multiple ways to go to Aga. After doing Aga, you had to head west to get your Titan's Mitts out of Skull Woods, to get your mirror off of Purple Chest, to then get your hammer off of Graveyard Ledge. What is Hammerlock?
Yeah, I gotta say, I really hope that the runners follow the mirror, just because of how, like you said, how fun, quote unquote, the seed has been. I hope that the remaining 3 runners, as they pick up that mirror. Obviously Dark Death Mountain makes sense. Obviously Tower of Hera with the mirror. But after that, K45 and Graveyard Ledge. Hopefully that's enough of an incentive to avoid the hammerless Ice Palace.
And Scarlet pointing out a just awful, awful, awful location for those boots.
See, I'm telling you.
On Laser Bridge. That's evil.
Chat, they dream up some awful scenarios, I'm telling you. And interesting. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I think I'm going to say the same thing you are. Humbug doing Moldorm.
Yeah, Humbug is holding out that something is on that pedestal, maybe. It very well could be an ice rod. I certainly hope it isn't. I don't know if I can even say that enough, loud enough. I really don't want to see Ice Rod on Ped, but... And with Moldorm down on Humbug's side, we get another boss fight started over here on Raylan's side, coming up to Cold Stare.
Yeah, there are definitely still some options for Pedestal. Pedestal is not dead yet, but it is. There are a few options left.
Nice Cold Stare fight. It's certainly nice to have Tempered Sword going into these boss fights. We've had Tempered for, I don't know, since about 10 minutes or so, maybe 15 minutes in, so... Raylan is happy to grab that 3rd crystal and jumps into the crystal lead here on the restream. Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, as I have a tendency to be from time to time, but I feel like the only major things Ped can't be right now are Boots and Kane. And obviously Fire Rod, since we know where that is.
Boots can be there, can't they?
No, because yeah, I'm sorry. I keep looking at Skullwoods thinking it's the pendant. I've been doing that all day. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, so Boots could be there. Wow, that's rough.
Yeah, Boots and Ice Rod are really the 2 outliers. I think those are the only 2 options left for a pedestal seed. We do know where our Quake medallion is, if that is needed for anything, so.
And Humbug giving us a look at the magic bat, and it was just yet another piece of heart. So I'm speaking for the runners here when I say I think they're tired of heart pieces.
I don't believe we did. We're pretty sure we got all 4 items out of Thieves Town.
And I believe this is Raylan's first dip here into Pod. We saw Humbug and Brev in here earlier, but Raylan
as well as Pixie.
Pixie also made the dip. Okay, I would say definitely going to have the advantage of being able to finish this out with that hammer in tow. And Moldorm, that was a very quick Moldorm fight on Brev's side. Again, nice to have that Tempered Sword to be dealing big damage to these bosses here. Brev's also going to be picking up the blue pendant from Hera. And Humbug in the vicinity.
Humbug will be our second runner to find progression on this one.
Humbug's hammer senses are tingling. There it is. And Yoshi looks just so happy.
Now, the one thing that I have to point out is extra troubling here is I don't believe Brev still has checked Lumberjack.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the case. Brev has not gotten the information that we got so early on, thanks to Professor Pixie being the first runner to check that. But Fire Rod is sitting up there on the Lumberjack ledge, which means AGA required, and as well as boots are going to be necessary to pick that up.
And yeah, unless we find the some other progression item soon, it looks like Swamp Palace might be our next play after this.
Very interesting, though. Professor Pixie picking up the mirror off the purple chest, but Brev, despite having not checked Lumberjack, is going to check Graveyard and is going to be well rewarded. Because Brev's hammer senses were tingling as well. So with the hammer pickup for Brev, but not the knowledge of Fire Rod. How does that, like, where does that feel in line with where the other three runners are, at least for equipment versus information?
Sorry, I'm just surprised by some of these plays now.
Yeah, that's a very, I mean, it's absolutely a great play. I'm in full support of it, and obviously it's the right play because it's paying out, but I'm surprised to see a Graveyard ledge check before a Lumberjack check.
I mean, I think without the boots, I don't blame Brev for deciding to wait on it. Hopefully, you know, when those boots do show up, you know, we will see obviously Bach Rocks and King's Tomb, but also take those up to our Lumberjack.
Well, in the realm of new information, Humbug is going to take a swim in Pendant Swamp. This could
it's a
be
green
big.
pendant.
Yeah.
And realistically, you know, Humbug could head up to, on returning, the book. On returning to Pod, we'll be able to turn in this green pendant. But I wonder if Humbug's also kind of gambling. Is this a Ped Seed now? You know, deciding to full clear Hera.
And Professor Pixie is in the vicinity and picking up the all too important hammer. So that is all four runners now armed with the hammer, as well as a couple of other nice things in the last couple of minutes. We've seen everyone catch up on the mirror, the hammer. So yeah, we'll see how this routing decides to pan out.
Yeah, and Palace of Darkness not really paying out for this one. It's our fourth crystal for Raylan, so really great progress there, but nothing in terms of a, you know, progression. Book gives us access to desert, but maybe not the ability to clear it.
It also does give us a peek at what's on the two different tablets. But as chat pointing out, yes, reading is a good thing. So, and it's a shame because Raylan was the only runner to not go through all of this Palace of Darkness nonsense. But based on not having too much else to go off of, is still going to be go ahead and clearing it. So,
and I this is the play you have to make. Pod is not a slow dungeon to get through, but you do want to check as much as possible.
It makes absolute perfect sense with the knowledge that Raylan has. Ooh, the boots! The boots are in the diver down checks in Pendant Swamp. Oh.
Now,
you gotta feel good as Humbug, but Oh,
I don't want to downplay this, but 5-6 crystal, but we're still short a couple of very important items.
and well, being short a couple of items, Humbug has in mind to go ahead and get this pendant out of here. That's going to be 2 out of 3 pendants for Humbug, who also decided to finish off Moldorm when he was up on Death Mountain. So that is a really big pull. Although, again, we could end up in a world where there's not too much left, and Pendant Swamp becomes the most dense check. But
yeah, I think actually we're going to see that momentarily from Raylan, because besides hammer pegs, I don't know if Raylan has anything else.
Yeah, and Humbug showing off just how much of a damage increase that Temper Sword is able to very efficiently take out not only the puffs there, but also finish Argus up pretty cleanly as well. So not a crystal, but it is a green pendant. So could be something nice on that green pendant turn in, but I mean, I think we've got our value no matter what, so.
Yeah, and Humbug's heading straight over to check Bombo's tablet, and I think we're going to get a desert clear as well.
Yeah, with the boots, I mean, it's a good call for sure.
Oh.
Well, be sure to take your books to the local tablets, because that's going to be providing a very necessary ice rod. Humbug making a call, and it's paying off. So Swamp just keeps leading to progression here.
So the big confirmation there is I apologize to you personally, chat. The pedestal is dead.
I feel no sentiment of apology. I do not like to see our runners tortured, and they have had to put up with enough already, I'd say.
And yes, we are just in a hunt for our Cane of Samaria. So wherever that is go mode.
Thank you, Leslie Pro, agreeing with the sentiment. The runners have suffered. They truly have. Yeah, that's a pretty awful one-off place for Ice Rod.
I will say, between where we got the book, though, that is about as kind as it's going to get.
Yeah, if you read it that way. No pun intended there. But it'd be very easy to walk away from that because you had the boots.
But I think realistically, having book and boots, it almost just says, go to desert, go to desert. And like, I don't see somebody skipping it.
And I do see Drossi, the awesome Drossi, pointing out that, what if we find flute first? Does a vanilla cane begin to play in your mind? Well, we got a red item. We were saying the same thing. A red item in the big chest of desert. It's not the one we want, though.
I think after this, either way, Humbug checks our King's Tomb, Bonk Rocks, and gets that fire rod before heading into Skull Woods.
Yeah, look at chat. They get mad that, can't have stuff on pet anymore, so now they're wishing for Kane vanilla location. Boy, I'll tell you. No mercy from chat.
I mean, after seeing most of our runners head into Tower of Hera for nothing, and then having to go into a second pendant and having to go do Aga, you almost want to see everything.
For Desert Ledge, I believe it was Brev, whoever checked the early Agena, they saw Desert Ledge. I missed it, but they did make the effort to go over, so I don't remember who it was.
There wasn't anything of importance.
Okay. Thank you for, looks like chat's clearing that up. It was just some bombs, so thank you. Yeah, I totally missed that.
And the other thing to keep in mind is, chat, if you really want to see Meyer, and put a cherry on top of this one, you almost hope for it to be quake locked because that's on the library. But Desert does not have Arcane.
A lot of red.
Yeah.
A lot of red to go around. It's just not the red we're looking for. And with the Desert Crystal pickup, we get a boss fight over here on Raylan as well as Brev's side. It's going to be Argus up top and Cold Stare on the bottom. And again, making use of that Tempered Sword. Very efficient, effective way to take down not only the Puffs, but Argus as well. And we see the same, kind of pretty good fight with the all things considered on Brev's side as well. So 2 quick bosses. The Crystal pickup for Brev, clearing out Ice Palace, and a green pendant snag for Raylan. So we'll see. We still don't know what's on that green pendant.
We did just get to see King's Tomb from Humbug. Nothing there. So Bonk Rocks to Lumberjack and probably a Skull Woods clear right after this. Now, the other piece, of course, is Humbug didn't clear Ice Palace. So I'm wondering, Humbug hoping for a Cane of Samaria before even coming to go to Ice.
Well, based on what was in Ice Palace, it'd be very nice for Humbug to be able to stay out of there as long as possible.
As Raylan picks up the Ice Rod.
Again, no pun intended, but Raylan reading that book right across the straight line and is going to be taking it over to clear out Desert as well. Yep, Humbug taking the boots, picking up the Fire Rod.
Yeah, we saw this less than 10 minutes into the seed on Professor Pixie's screen, and there we go. Just took a little bit more than an hour to finally pick them up.
Interesting, we're getting a Spike Cave check here from Brev. Haven't seen this yet from any of the runners. Will there be a reward? And yet again, it is a disappointing piece of heart.
So Humbug is going to check out our hammer pegs before heading to the Skull Woods.
And I think I said it best a few seconds ago, another disappointing piece of heart.
Yeah, give me those, in the first half hour. I don't mind them, but up to 12 hearts and Tempered Sword and half magic and a cape, I'll live without.
You could say it's heartbreaking.
Oh.
Wow, thanks. Good, yeah. Thanks for that, Radical. I appreciate it.
I mean, I have a lot of friends who love pun games, so, I can't blame you.
You always got to throw a good one in on a comm. You have to. You're not doing it right if you don't, at least in my opinion.
So no new info really coming from any of our checks. We are getting that moth kill, but we did get both items out of Skull Woods. Humbug does have the flippers. They are not marked on the tracker, but yes, Humbug does have flips after having done Swamp Palace as well.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, and then I saw Humbug when he turned in the mushroom. I was like, oh yeah, okay. And Raylan having a little more fortune with the Ice Rod strat here on on this boss fight. Humbug had a little bit of an issue with Ice Rod shots. Cleaned up the boss pretty efficiently still nonetheless, but some good Ice Rod shots from Raylan, picking up another crystal. And just a hair after that, Humbug picking up another crystal as well. So let's get this count up here. It looks like we've got 4 crystals on Humbug's side and 5 crystals for Raylan. So Raylan just a hair above, having been to Ice Palace already.
Yeah, so they swapped which crystal they did earlier.
Right, and for time spent on bosses, Humbug also did go ahead through with the Moldorm fight. So
yeah, that play to Swamp Palace early for Humbug is helping. It's just a question of where's Canis Samaria?
And I see chat pointing out with all the runners to follow, it's easy to miss something. It appears that Brev bailed out on picking up the book. That is certainly rough, as the boots are hiding down there in the diver down chests of Swamp Palace.
But here we go, Pyramid Fairy. Is this the answer?
Well,
Just
if you
a lot
wanted
of money,
if you wanted more money, it's definitely the answer. Unfortunately, I don't think that's what Humbug was interested in.
So for Humbug at this point, it's going to be an Ice Palace play. I think, Humbug has put off Ice Palace about as long as possible. Oh, wait, sorry, I'm wrong. Green Pendant turn in.
The true value. Maybe going to get it on the way out.
No, has to go finish Pod. Had never killed Helmasaur.
Yeah, has already done clearing of Pod though, so gonna mirror here and then finish Helma. I think it's a good call.
And nope.
I think Swamp Palace certainly paid out quite a bit already. Gave us our boots and gave us our book, which gave us our ice rod. So actually, it gave us both our rods. Boots gave us fire rod and book gave us ice rod. So Swamp Palace, you've done enough for us today. Thank you.
According to chat, it hasn't yet. Chat is out for left side swamp now.
It's funny. I didn't even consider that. My goodness. Well, if there's something on left side swamp, that's good news for Brev. Brev's got to get back into swamp, pick up those boots. And Professor Pixie is making the first dip into swamp here. We'll see. Maybe we'll get a full left side from Professor Pixie.
Yeah, I know Professor Pixie's played it a little bit safer with some of the checks. So very possible, but at the same time, I feel like you get that book and you get those boots, you really want to go back in, unless we see left side the first trip in.
That's what I'm thinking. If any runner, I mean, Professor Pixie is in place for it now, but if any runner was to go full left first, just because there's so many, outstanding items right now. Because again, Professor Pixie doesn't have books, so doesn't have ice rod. There's still a hunt going on to say. So for some credit to be said, as you said, playing it a little safe with checks, kind of slow and steady, right? Might win the race here if something big pays out.
Yeah, because you look at where Raylan is, and Raylan just taking down Mothula. I expect to see a Pyramid Fairy check soon. But there's not a whole left for Raylan, so they're all last locations, A lot of people are saying Ether Tablet, left side swamp. I don't know if we have much else. But here we go with that ether tablet from Brev.
Well, if you wanted a cane of Samaria, you're going to need a book. And if you need a book, you're going to have to go to Swamp Palace. So is that enough for you, chat? Has Swamp Palace paid out enough now?
And I'm going to really have to say this now. This is rough for Brev.
Yep, there are less and less reasons.
Yeah, this is unfortunate. Brev is going to make the play into Turtle Rock.
It's kind of crazy to think about how much was locked behind the green pendant swamp play.
Yeah. And if, we want to go back to the chain of events, the so-called spheres of this seed, after you get that Dark World access from Aga, you got to get the myths out of Skull Woods to get your mirror off a purple chest, to get your hammer out of Graveyard Ledge, to get your book and boots out of Swamp, to get your Ice Rod, your Fire Rod, and your Cane of Samaria. So yes, this is quite the chain of events. And yeah, Brev is heading into Turtle Rock. Hopefully gets locked out really quickly here. You would hate to see Brev go deep into Turtle Rock. And luckily, yes, we are locked out of TR.
That's the first time I've been happy to see a heart piece all race.
Yeah. As Professor Pixie does find the boots.
That's rough too, because had Brev just grabbed the boots, would be in a huge position having grabbed the cane off the ether tablet. So kind of each of our runners made partially figured it out and put it together. So we've yet to see somebody fully complete the circle, but it looks like Raylan is in the vicinity to go ahead and start doing that.
Yep, this is the quickest play for Raylan left, this ether tablet. So good play here. We'll have the Cane of Samaria and be in go mode, the first of our runners, or our restreamed runners, to hit go mode.
And I was so excited about that cane play, I blinked and I missed it. Apparently, Humbug finished off Helmasaur and is already a nice palace. So, tying up the crystal count there. And Raylan, you're going to like this.
And there we go, 127.06. Raylan Tanker has entered go mode.
Yeah, all things considered, for a rough start here as far as what the seed made available to us, it cleaned up nicely on the back end. It was really just go ahead, take a gamble on Swamp, and you'll be really happy with what it turns out to be. So.
And just a reminder, we are showing our 4 runners here. We do have a total of 7 runners today. So there are 3 runners off stream. We don't know where they are. We will not, announce any results until the end, or until at least one of our restreamed runners finishes today. But there are 3 off stream today. So, and it looks like everybody's sticking this one out. So, everybody's going with the gross seed today.
Well, Professor Pixie about to be rewarded for sticking this out and grabbing Ice Rod off the Bombos tablet. Kind of ironic, it's the fire tablet, but sure, I'm not asking questions. We'll take it. I will say I have really enjoyed the play from all runners so far today. Very impressive.
No real bad place here. It's just this is not a kind seed. They're taking what little pieces they are and just, trying to do something with it.
Yeah, it's been a lot of different plays, but each of them is kind of, like we say, kind of paid out a little bit in its own way and kind of overlapping those plays together. That's Cold Stare down at just under an hour and a half for Humbug side, and I do believe Raylan picked up the big key already.
Yeah, so this will be about as good of a go mode TR as possible. One of the things you'll hear a lot from people is, what difference does a dungeon make if it's go mode or not? TR is usually the least changed dungeon, but if you can get a big key early, there is at least some benefit.
Yeah, and down there on Brev's screen, it doesn't feel good to double dip Pendant Swamp, but that is where Brev is going, and that is where Brev needs to be. Grab the book early. Sorry, go ahead.
No, just agreeing with you there.
And grab the book early and noped out. And again, with what the book gave us, it feels like a strong play, but unfortunately the boots were a few more rooms ahead. So having to make progress back down here in Pendant Swamp. If Brev grabbed Ice Rod, though, is going to be able to nope out after grabbing those boots. Because should have information on everything else. But I don't see it on the tracker mark, and there's a good chance that Brev just got out of there. So,
well, and I could be wrong here, but I don't know if Brev still has checked Lumberjack.
Oh, that's right. Brev is the one runner that hasn't been over there. And for good reason, hasn't had boots. So...
Yep. But, when Brev picks up the boots, do we see a save and quit and not even, check out Bombos? Oh, wait. Brev does have Ice Rod? Okay. GFE able to confirm that for us.
Well, then that's a bummer on the knowledge, kind of the knowledge route there, because Brev would know that the rest of this dungeon, the pendant, everything else is pointless, but... I would imagine based on everything else that's been checked. Although maybe Brev feels inspired by the boots the same way that was inspired by the book. So we'll have to see. Yeah, I agree with chat. I fully imagine Brev will finish this dungeon out, but...
And we missed it, but Humbug did get that Cane of Samari and is also in go mode, as Raylan is just looking for a small key on Laser Bridge.
Is it the first chest? No.
Now, the other thing I'll just point out, I don't believe there's a bot for this, but momentarily, Raylan is going to be fighting Trinex for his 7th crystal, and after that is going to make the run to GT, and there's a little game we like to play. Would you like to describe it?
Yes, so we have before us the Ganon's Big Key guessing game. And if you didn't know, we need a big key to finish making the climb up Ganon's tower, and there are 22 possible locations to where that chest can be. And so you want to go ahead and throw a guess out there, Radical?
I'll say number 7. I already see a 22 out there in chat. Wow, that's a quick. But yeah, Raylan just has to take down our Trinex, and then we'll be heading over to GT. While we do not have a bot for today, do just throw those numbers in there. Let's see what we get.
All right, I'm putting it in just for fun, but I don't like to guess them on comms, but I'm going to say 7. Check number 7
here. Homemade beer with a 3 in tile room. That's a great one. I don't expect much meme routing from people, but you never know. After a garbage seed, part of you just goes, I want it to be over. I want to do something that seems not smart.
And with that, we are an hour, 33 minutes, and 30 seconds. Raylan is going to grab that 7th crystal and make a mad dash over to GT. So we are going to technically stop the guessing when Raylan gets in the door, and we're going to be using Raylan's routing to verify the numbers here. So whatever Raylan sees as key number 1 is going to be how we do this because Humbug should be entering the tower pretty shortly behind. Has about half of TR to clear out, and then we're good.
Yeah, not a lot of space there. And yeah, Brev is checking those boots checks, so should have that fire rod momentarily as Professor Pixie does get the fire rod. Just needs Cane of Samaria now.
Ooh, I think that was number 2. I'm pretty sure that was a number 2 big key pull on Raylan.
And that's a God GT. We got a small key and the big key in Hope Room. You rarely see it, but you're always happy to.
Or at least you hope to. All right, that's my last one. That's my last one. I promise. Yeah, homemade. If it had been right next door in the tile room, you would have had a very, very accurate guess. Yeah, this seed showing its true colors on the second half has been a much kinder seed after this very stressful beginning.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were, looking at about a 50-plus minute hammer. And then since then, the seed has just been delivering item after item.
Yep, and about the same time we had the big key pickup, I think we've got our other 2 runners also joining us in go mode. So, I apologize. Professor Pixie has not gone up to the ether tablet.
Yeah, that's the one item that Professor Pixie is looking for, but Brev has found the fire rod, so Brev is now in go mode as well.
And any real hope that Humbug had for Raylan taking some time to find the big key is kind of out the window here, as it's going to be finishing off Trinex with a pretty easy fight here. With all things considered, having that tempered sword definitely helps, but yeah, there's no real option to miss that big key. It's right there in the beginning, so.
Yeah, I think the only thing we could see from Humbug, and I am not familiar with Humbug's routing of the basement, is a possible, left side check first. But even then, I think worst case, we get maybe a Dark Magician route. But, a lot of runners almost always start off Hope Room and assume to go Hope Right. So.
Well, that's Humbug with 7 crystals at 1 hour and 37. So it's just about, was it a 4-minute difference, I think? Something close to that. But then we also have our 6th crystal pickup on Professor Pixie's side, and is going to give us a ped check. So chat, at least you get to know what was on it. And it looks like bombs. Coming full circle, the game started by giving us bombs. And for 3 pendants, we'll give you some more bombs. And that's a 6th crystal grab for Brev as well, but does have a slight advantage. Brev has already gone up to the ether tablet, grabbed that Cane of Samaria. So Brev will no doubtedly be headed up to TR to also make good progress on finishing up this seed. We'll see what Pixie decides to do in a search for that cane, though.
Yeah, there's a few Dark World checks, I believe, that Professor Pixie, knows are in this area to go check out. And we are seeing that alternate route from Humbug doing left side. So hopefully he decides to go, pulling out the mirror. So setting up for a Dark Magician. Hey, there's our blue cane.
Funny enough, we never saw the flute. Not required for this seed, obviously, but wonder where that was hiding out. A very nice Aga fight for Raylan's side. I didn't catch the full breakdown there. Maybe chat or Radical if you saw that, but it looked quick. Not
Yeah,
sure how
that
many
wasn't
cycles
too
it
bad
was.
of an AGA 2. I didn't get the exact number of rounds. Yes, Raylan is going to be dropping in on Ganon. Nice.
To answer, oh, go ahead.
That was a nice double spin there on that first trident throw to get the single phase for phase 1. And it looks like Raylan did get enough slashes in for a single. Yep, there we go. A single phase, phase 2. So nice 1-1 from Raylan.
Yeah, putting on a real clinic here for this Ganon fight. Absolutely gorgeous strats. Oh, and the silver arrows were hiding on planet Zebes. How could we have missed them?
Rough locations.
Yeah, the whole beginning of this seed was rough locations, right?
You know, it's almost more ironic that that's being said to Samus.
Yeah, I wouldn't have even put that together. Very nice. See, and you don't like my puns, but you've got the quality jokes. So,
but working through on the phase 4 for Ganon, going for triples. Ganon giving some nice positions for that. Really nice there.
and Humbug making good progress to get up the tower, but it is not going to be fast enough because that is the big pig going down in flames here. Raylan just has to cross this bridge, and we're going to get a finish here. So get those GGs in chat.
And there we go. Raylan crossing the bridge and finishing this race with an official racetime.gg time of 1:41.11. First on your restream and first overall today.
GGs to Raylan. Very nice job. Tough seed, especially starting out, but you know, put the pieces together quick enough and made some good calls. Definitely well deserved of a win today. And Humbug is quick on the heels there, so fingers crossed that we get another a second place finish here on the restream. Still haven't seen anybody else finish yet, so we'll keep you updated as that comes in.
Yeah, and we are now joined by Raylan Tankier. GG's.
Yeah. GG's.
GG's.
So, how'd you like that one?
Well, it was something. I mean, in the last weeks, I played quite a few seeds very extensively and checked very many things that were not necessary. Today, most of them were actually necessary. So, kind of a weird feeling.
Yeah, pretty much every out of way location became important for once.
Yeah, and everything being locked by a mirror in purple chest is just, it speaks volumes about the seed.
Yeah, we were going through kind of that chain of events after you get Dark World access to get Mirror to Hammer to Book and Boots for everything else. So.
Yep.
So I have to ask, how did the Pendant Swamp play feel? But then maybe based on the payout afterwards, how did that all kind of come together for you?
Well, I mean, at that point, it was my by far best location to search for progression. And it was, or I kind of expected to at least the boots be there. It would have fit the seat at that point. Having Book also there, locking Ice Rod and Kane was, bit more than I expected, but yeah. mean, I've played my fair share of seeds already, so at some point when I found nothing behind the flippers and still had Swamp completely open, I expected there to be something. And yeah, not that much surprise. So
yeah, as nice as or as not nice, I guess, as the purple chest mirror was, I feel like the hammer, like you said, being in such an obscure one-off location up there at Graveyard Ledge, that was kind of the big play we had to wait for everybody to make, progressively as we were watching. So anything that prompted you to go over and check that?
I mean, searching for the hammer when you have mid-Starkbolt access is always quite a pain, especially if it's not in the more obvious locations like Thieves Town or Village of Outcasts area or Hype Cave. So I had basically the option going to pot without hammer and ice without hammer, or I follow that mirror, which was not necessary in the seed with Swarm Pendant. And yeah, getting that in the purple chest, I kind of was like, okay, I made that very slow play for the purple chest and got the mirror. I have to search for payout maybe for that. So I opted for mirror checks over pot and ice at that point.
Yeah, definitely surprising, but worked out great in your case. We did see pretty much all the other runners make a play to pod before getting the hammer.
And sorry to interrupt real quick. Get some GGs in chat really quick. We do have Humbug finishing, and that is second place on the restream as well as second place overall today, with an official time of 1 hour, 45 minutes, 42 seconds. So GGs.
Yeah, sorry for kind of cutting you off there, but not doing pod, especially when you could do everything except for Helma, was definitely a surprise, but well worth the time.
Yeah, but if it's not there, it's still very slow check, and getting back to pod for a double dip that is not necessary does cost also quite a bit of time. So
yeah, and I mean, in this case, it pretty much, you could almost say it's the difference between your time and Humbug's time.
That's the kind of plays you have to make at some point when you want to win races, because like I said, purple chest without mirror especially is such a slow check, and if you do it already and you get something out there that opens up more checks, then it's probably the better play to try to follow through on that gamble you already did and search for payout there before you go to the safe place that others would more likely to do. Because if you go, or if the hammer isn't pot and you do purple chest and everything everyone else does not, you already lost quite a bit of time.
Right.
So
Rael and I do have another question. Chose not to finish clearing out Tower of Hera as far as grabbing the pendant, pretty much banking on nothing being there. We saw a couple of other runners choose to go for pendants as well.
Well, I had both items out of Hera, so I would have only killed Moldrum for the pendant. It wasn't a green pendant, so there wasn't an item behind it. And playing to pedestal that early is not something I was willing to do in the seed, especially with Turtle Rock being pendant. With Maya being pendant. Excuse me. Mixing up seeds. My last Turtle Rock was pendant. But still, if you have Maya and or Turtle Rock pendants, playing for pedestal is not a very likely option. And like I said, with Swamp pendant and Maya pendant, the mirror was not really necessary. You could have just get booked for desert access and never find the flute. Yeah, so pedestal was really not something I was preparing for.
Well, it certainly paid out for you, that's for sure.
I think the only other check that I felt, was a little bit out of the order a lot of us had expected was You actually did Graveyard before, or no, you got Mirror from Purple Chest before going into Dark Death Mountain. Any particular reason for avoiding the extra mountain check, even knowing the density?
I have to recall the situation, but I think it was just I had Mids opened up the mountain, so they were in Skullwoods, but I was going to Thieves Town Hype Cave and had a smith with me, so I had to turn that one in first. And yeah, after that I decided.
No. I see what you're saying. I see where you're going with this. Yeah. You had skipped Thieves early.
Well, I dipped the
Jeremiah.
front. Yeah, I dipped the front and got the small key, so I knew, okay, maybe the hammer is not required for Thieves Town, or could be in Thieves Town, so I was saying, okay, doing a risk on that, finishing the crystal before going up the mountain, and I can get Purple Chest after it. But I had to return to Kakariko at least once to turn in the smith.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot more sense. Thinking of it that way.
Going straight back up for 6 checks on the mountain, if you can potentially try and save one more mountain climb, if TR is your last crystal, is also something you can choose to play to. So
right,
it's not always the best play to just go for density, but maybe try to do other checks that you all have to do first, and look if you can just save a mountain trip.
Fair enough. So Brev dropping into the Ganon fight now, as Professor Pixie is climbing GT. And of course, we are, we're within a week of our first qualifier. How do you feel your prep's going for qualifiers, if you are, of course, partaking in the main tourney this year?
Well, I will at least try and do some of the qualifiers. I am feeling okay with how I play currently in the seats. So I'm looking forward to see what I can do, if I can qualify again, and maybe not in place 129 this time. So yeah, maybe my goal is to actually make the cutoff before dropouts this time.
I was gonna say, definitely going to be a very competitive field. I feel between watching, the open and invitational leagues this past season, there's definitely been an influx of new runners into the scene, and this is going to be some jam-packed qualifiers coming up.
For sure.
Well, you certainly put on a good display today, so look forward to seeing how that goes for you as things move forward.
Brev riding the line there, almost walked off the edge. That was really close, but does take down Ganon. Meanwhile, Professor Pixie into our second Wizrobe room, as Brev does cross the finish. So get those GGs in chat for Brev. Finishing third on the restream with a time of 1:52.49, fourth overall. We actually had a third place finish from Sin. Sorry for pronunciations, with a 1:50.07.
GG's for sure. Was a hard-fought race from all runners and impressive all around. So definitely deserving of to feel good about how this one turned out.
So we do see the final screens from Humbug and Raylan here. 147 on the collection rate. for as much as we had to do, feels nice to be able to have a little lower collection rate just between not having to touch Meyer and a very brief GT.
Yep.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about how wonderful that GT Big Key was.
Well, that's why it's called Hope Room. You hope for a small key and a big key, and sometimes your hope gets rewarded.
Meanwhile, Professor Pixie taking down Moldor 2, so just Aga 2 and Ganon left on her side.
So, Raylan, while we have you in here, you have any feedback or opinion on how the stand hard, the tournament flags, how that mode feels?
It's certainly not the worst mode to pick. I remember there a very, very special mode that then did not make the tournament that was contemplated. So, yeah, standard 7-7. It's a mode I like, and making a hard item pool feels like, fits the tournament and the purpose of the tournament. So, yeah, looking forward to see how a big tournament with a fixed mode will play out. But I think it's definitely an at least okay mode to choose. There could have been way worse. Or I at least like definitely going for hard pull but leaving normal functionality. Because hard item functionality just makes some things very, very annoying.
I was gonna say I don't feel like we see a lot of hard functionality. I personally would agree that's for the better. But I'm sure there might be some runners out there who actually enjoy that.
Sure. I mean, it's a nice challenge, certainly, but as a complete tournament mode, I think it's not very much liked overall. So, yeah, can understand not going with that.
Professor Pixie on to phase 3 of the Ganon fight. Had a green potion. I believe still also has a fairy, so should be safe for the end of this fight, even if takes some damage.
Yeah, having half magic
Oh
from the
no,
beginning.
missing the torch glitch. That's a rough start. Gonna go with, I think. Are we gonna see lamp strats? No. Okay, so still gonna go with the fire rod. Should have enough fire rod to still get through this fight.
Yeah, if you have tempered and half magic, you probably should go for fire rod strats. Because you just can light torches in a way that you can almost guarantee 2 hits per phase.
Exactly.
With lamp, if you're not moving good, then you sometimes just can get 1 in, so...
Switching over to lamp, I think, feeling a little bit cautious here.
Yeah. I mean...
Still getting a double, so...
It always depends on if you are comfortable doing fire rod strats and if you have maybe some spare magic in bottles, so you can be a bit more lenient in your magic usage.
Yeah, unfortunately, that second torch, or that first torch is going out just, oh wow, really close to a hug there. That one torch is just going out a little too early. So switching back to fire rod.
That recoil close on the edge, but able to bring Ganon down. So get some GGs in chat for Professor Pixie. A great display from all 4 runners on the restream. Very entertaining match to watch. And Professor Pixie does finish 5th overall. Just a hair under 2 hours. We've got an official time of 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 1 second. So GG's, Professor Pixie. Well done. Not an easy seed, that's for sure, especially in the beginning. Pretty stingy with progression. But all 4 of our restream runners able to put the pieces together and put on a very entertaining race. As we've said a few times today, strongly encourage you, please go ahead and give these runners a follow. They are not only put on a great show here, but providing content on their own channels, and is a great way to show some love and support for the way that they put on such an entertaining race for us. And follow as we get into these qualifiers. I believe you said Radical Sniper a week away, right?
Yeah, Sunday will be the first of the qualifiers. There are 15 or 16 of them. Anybody looking to go into the main tourney, of course, will be looking to get at least 5 in. So all in this stand hard mode. So, yep, we are less than a week away, and it'll be a very busy 2-ish weeks of qualifiers. Pretty much every day will be a qualifier. If you're still looking for practice and interested in participating in the main tourney or giving it a shot, just to kind of throw out some of the schedule coming up, we do have so of course with the daily races, the next 2 days are also going to be this tourney flag set. Tomorrow at 9 p.m. Okay. Sorry about that. Wednesday at 11 p.m. we have another one. So next 2 nights we will be seeing some tourney practice if you're looking for that.
Yep, it is stuff that you're not going to want to miss, especially as we get into these qualifiers. Make sure you're following all the speed gaming channels and everything you need to do to stay up to speed, lack of a better term, to stay up to speed on what's going on. And be sure to give a follow to my amazing co-com here, Radical Sniper 99, as well as a huge shout out to both of our trackers today, Captain 1977, and I really hope I get your name right, Phyllis Stee. Both of them, this race is nowhere near as enjoyable to watch without the trackers keeping all the information good, and just the awesome commentary from my co-com here, Radical Sniper. So thank you so much.
It was a pleasure working with you today, 329th. We did also have a 2 DNFs today, unfortunately, to finish out. So all the runners are done with today's daily race. So understandable. This race was obviously not the most straightforward placements, but yeah, great job across the board.
Does look like we might have Professor Pixie joining us quickly for an interview. I'm not sure. We'll keep you updated on that.
Yeah, unfortunately, Humbug not able to, and we did not hear anything from Brev.
Well, all in all, I have to say that this race, it just got me excited for these qualifiers. So if you enjoyed this, stick around and keep up to the schedule, because you're not going to want to miss a great couple of weeks of qualifiers coming up, as well as the next tournament. And yeah, I know I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm looking forward to being able to run in these qualifiers. So,
as we talked earlier, I'm looking forward to be able to watch people run in these qualifiers.
As we are now joined by Professor Pixie. GG's.
GG's.
Ow.
GG.
Ow.
Oh. Ow.
There was a seed.
You wouldn't be referring to the beginning and the stingy progression of that seed and placement of the hammer, would you?
The placement of that hammer was, in a word, disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Having to do mirrorless purple chest for it. Yikes.
Well, you pieced it together, though, in sub 2 hours for a pretty rough, especially the beginning. The beginning was awful, but how did Swamp Palace feel? Since that was kind of, it was like the Vegas payout here. Swamp Palace had everything.
Best of the worst options. That was how it felt. It was the best of the absolute worst options I had at the time. Because I think aside from that, I had a couple of other mirror checks to do. And that was about it.
It was certainly stingy. A lot of heart pieces. If you wanted heart pieces, they were going around.
Yeah. Didn't think I would get sub 2 on that. Ugh.
Well, it's certainly hard fought and impressive. Nice work. Especially to you, Professor Pixie, but to all 4 of our restream runners. Very impressive. Awesome work today. Enjoyable to watch.
Yes. I'm sure they did. Wow. I was so close to taking a hug there.
Yeah, we had noticed that one.
It was like I had a fairy, but I was so close to taking a hug.
Well, hard mode Ganon fight is not fun. Especially, I mean, having half magic helps a little bit, to be able to conserve some of your, be a little more frivolous with Fire Rod use towards the end. But we saw you switch back and forth from Fire Rod to Lamp Strats. Brev skated on the line, almost took a fall there. So it was a tough fight all around. Didn't fall, but was certainly frightening to watch.
Oh, it usually is. Oh.
Well, Professor, GG's indeed. Do you have any other comments or questions about how this insanity played out?
No. I had fun. GG's to everyone else that was involved. And thanks to you guys, too, keeping up with all of it.
It's a little comfier on the in the booth than it is to be a runner, especially in a seat like this. But thank you. It was an absolute pleasure to be able to work.
Well, there we go.
So I guess if nobody has anything else for today, I think that's going to do it on our end. Once again, GG's to all the runners. Thank you to, everybody hanging out today and watching everything. And of course, shout outs to COCOM 329th Inline, as well as our trackers. We'll just put the runner and tracker information in the chat one more time in case you might have missed them. Make sure to give everybody a follow for all that was done today, and hopefully we'll see you for the next daily. As we said, tomorrow at 9 p.m. is another one of the hard standards, as well as 11 p.m. on Wednesday night. So if you're looking for practice in preparation for Sunday's first qualifier, you have options.
Yeah, this week is all over that.
Well, get that practice in, get those runs in, but do not miss Sunday begins qualifiers. So whether you catch it live or catch it on the VOD, be sure to catch the action because it's going to be awesome, as we saw today. Just a taste of what's to come. Indeed, there's some good stuff headed on Speed Gaming for the next couple of weeks. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for us. I am 329th in line. I've had an absolute blast. Thanks for hanging out, Radical Sniper. Tons of fun to work with you. Again, to all our runners, please give them a follow, give the trackers a follow, show some love and support. Everybody is doing a great job around here. So thank you so much. That's going to do it for me today. Hope everybody has a great start to the week here.